Chat, as you heard, we are doing the top 5 rated players on my stream. I'm going to rate them top 5. You guys rated them top 5. About 20 or so of you responded. I was 5-head enough to get the survey responses before stream started so that not everybody had to show up. Because, let's be honest, we're not exactly a ginormous stream just yet. We are going to go through chat's top 5 and my top 5, and then we're just going to go over all the survey results. I'll show you guys all of them. It won't just be limited to the top 5, but I think that's what people care about the most. So the way that I did it is I took all your guys' votes and I counted them up like NBA MVP voting. So first place votes get 10 points, second get 7, third get 5, fourth get 3, and fifth get 1. So all those votes together, we calculate all the points, order them, and that is who, that is how we decide the cumulative order based on the way everybody responded. So I'm staring at all your responses right here. I know how they went. I think I'm going to go back and forth. I think I'm going to show chat's number 5, and then I'll show my number 5, and then all the way up to the end. I think this is kind of cool. I like kind of looking back at all the show matches we've done before. I asked a couple of the questions like, what's the most pog or cool moment on the stream? And basically only one event was said, and so if you're in chat you probably know what it is, but we'll talk about that. There's probably 2 events that were said, but one of them was said by 3 or 4 people, and it's the one I would have said too. So we also said who's the most underrated. I was gonna do overrated, but that felt mean, so I did just underrated, and a lot of answers for that one. Okay, here we go. We're gonna get chat's number 5. Chat's number 5 rated player is none other than the newbie. He hasn't played much on stream, but he played really well in the Fear 500. And it seems like chat thought he did well enough to be top 5 all time on stream. There's going to be a lot of bias for the Fear 500 Season 2, of course, in this one. And, for some good reason. Chat's number 5 is iRicky. iRicky finishing second in the Fear 500 is probably the biggest reason why he got this nod, I'm guessing, from chat. He's only played 2 other show matches that weren't the Fear 500, and it was against a couple non-top 100 players. And 14 is the name of a player, was top 100 when he first originally joined the Discord, but I'm not sure he was around top 100 at the time that they actually played each other. And then Mickey was also another win of his. That was when, when he was trying to push towards the top ranks, but wasn't necessarily there. So Ricky getting credit basically for being the first qualifier to go through the Fear 500 for this Season 2. He didn't lose a single game, and then he only lost to Chronic in the pool play, and then he lost to Drees in the finals. But he took down Daniel, and he took down Mo, and he took down Gino in the qualifying game. So he had a lot of good wins, and people took notice. Getting second against that good of a lineup did not go unnoticed. So chat has him number 5. Night Owl used to be cracked. Yeah, Night Owl was insane. But Night Owl didn't stick with it, man. That's okay. So we're gonna go Fear's top 5. My top 5, who I have rated number 5. I actually have to pull up what I did to remind myself, because it was hard. These were hard. I'll be honest. My number 5 was also iRicky. I agreed with you guys. I think he did really, really well. I think he's one of the top players on stream. I think he has been top ranked in the leaderboard for a really long time, even before he played on our stream. So he was always going to be really good. I think the only thing that's holding him back right now is he hasn't had enough time to really show that he's the best of the best. I think he'd be even higher than this if he had started playing on the stream earlier. But number 5 for iRicky. Chat agrees. I agree. We think number 5. So we move on to number 4. Number 4 in stream for chat is a player who has the least amount of losses. For anybody who's played 10 games, he has the least amount of losses for sure. And if it weren't for iRicky kind of throwing it off, basically the guy doesn't lose. This guy is at number 4 because he has great wins and loses only to the best players. He doesn't have a single hiccup in any of his losses. The only reason why he's probably at 4 is because he doesn't have loads of Fear 500 success. He was in both the Fear 500s. If you know who I'm talking about by now, chat had at number 4 Chronic. Chronic, lots of great wins. Played in both the Fear 500s. He was the champion of Next Gen, and he won that pretty easily. So that was probably his biggest, moniker of success was winning that Fear or that next gen so handily. But in both the Fear 500s, losing out in the semifinal, getting a bye to the semifinal, and then not being able to put it into the finals. I'll be honest, this season I thought Chronic was going to be, a top player. I thought Chronic was going to be the guy to beat in the Fear 500, and it just turned out that Dries was playing better than him that day. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like if we ran it back a few times, Chronic might be winning those, but he didn't. And so at the end of the day, it's about how they played, not necessarily how good they are in general, right? We all know Chronic, as everybody's like freaking out about Chronic being so low, or at least there's some people in chat freaking out about Chronic being so low. I think that comes from he just hasn't gotten the top performances on our stream that he has in other places. So anyways, guys, we'll go to my top 5. My number 4. Who did I have? Kinsey is in it. Yeah, Kinsey's in it. Anybody, by the way, if it wasn't clear, anybody who has at least 5 wins on stream was an option on the survey. So if you didn't have 5 wins, then I assumed that you haven't really been playing long enough to be included. So that was a little bit unfair. I should have included 4 wins, because 4 wins would have had Mo, RL Mo, who's in chat. We would have been able to include Mo, and people could have ranked him. To be fair, Mo is playing really well. He's just super, super new to the stream. And if he had won his semifinal matchup, then he would have 5 wins, and he would have been able to be included. But if I could do it again, maybe I don't include 4-win people, but still. Anyways, as I said, number 4 for me is Chronic. I agree with you guys. I think he is one of the best ones players there is. Like, you put him across things like the Salt Mine and, the Salt Mine Underground that he did recently, and all the other big tournaments that he does, and all the Astro tournaments that he's played in before, and all his different matchups that have happened not on our stream, and I think 4 is way too low. But basically, the reason why he gets 4 and he doesn't get like 1 or 2 is because he didn't close it out in either of the Fear 500s. He lost in the semifinals of both of them. And he's a finals type player, and he hasn't been able to get there. But he's still one of the best players on stream. But I also met him at 4. Hopefully we'll see him on the stream some more, and he'll get like a Fear 500 win, and then we'll be able to put him right there at the best of the best. Kinsey is Poggers. He actually is. Too low. Had him at 3. Yeah, he's pretty good. All right, chat. Chat's number 3. Number 3 player for chat. Number 3 player for chat is one of the most consistent players we've had on stream. He's been around for the longest time, it feels. I think he's tied with 2 other players for the most show matches ever on stream. And he has a lot of losses. To be honest. He has way more losses than Chronic. Way more. And that's kind of the weird thing about putting Chronic this low, is it feels wrong. Chronic almost never loses. But this guy, who's number 3, is 3 because of a little bit of recency bias, probably, and because of just how impressive that recency bias was. So, number 3 for chat is none other than Fear 500 Season 2 champion, Dries. Chat picked Dries number 3, and Dries is a great player. He's definitely deserving. He's had a lot of good wins. He's also feathered in a lot of good losses, which is kind of weird to say, but he's played in the Fear 500 Season 1 and 2. He played in the next gen, and he's played just top players even when he does play on stream. So he has so many games against good players. He's got a lot of good losses. But basically he's here because, and this high, like especially over people like Chronic, is because he played so well in Fear 500 Season 2. Like, he went off. Like, there's no way to have watched that a couple days ago and not feel like he's one of the best players. So that's why I think chat put him at 3. And people were thinking it was maybe going to be Sharp. No way Sharp's above Chronic. Did you see Sharp Infusion? Yeah, Sharp Infusion was nasty. But also, technically, we're talking about just on my stream. We're not talking about Infusion. Daniel and Kinsey, probably. You're above them all. Dries should be 1 or 2. Yeah, I mean, Dries in the past has had a lot of losses. But I could see how, especially if you're a little bit newer to the stream, Dries is basically undefeated in recent memory, so I could see why you'd think Dries could be even higher. This is technically over the whole scope of the stream. Are you gonna warm up? Exclamation point alert. All right, sounds good. We're talking about overall. No, not overall. Like, for example, Chronic's performances in the Salt Mine. I was trying to make the point that those don't count because Salt Mine was not hosted by us. So it's like, who's the best players on our stream? Anyways, for me, number 3 for me is a player. It's my first disagreeing with you guys. It's the first time I've disagreed with you guys. But in some ways, I kind of agreed. This player is somebody who's always been a top player. He also plays on Johnny Boys and other people's streams. He has a lot of great wins, but he also has some bad losses. But he has the greatest win you could ever ask for. It could carry him alone. He could have played no other games on the stream, but with this one win, he could be near the top. And that is none other than stream favorite Sharp. Sharp's win in the Fear 500 Season 1 is the reason why he's so high. I mean, he has a lot of other great wins too. He has some losses. I mean, he kind of exited early in Fear 500 Season 2, but Season 1 was so good for him. And he took down Chronic in Season 1. He took down Chronic in Season 1 twice, so we have him above Chronic. That's the kind of like another one of the reasons why Chronic drops under is like when it's come down to it in the important moments against Sharp, he hasn't been able to beat him. Now, he beat him in Fear 500 Season 2 in pool play, but that's arguably less important. And then that like semi-final matchup. Brainwash everyone and you will like and subscribe. There you go. Sam G says you will like, subscribe. So, down to 2 people left. 2 people left. Chat, who did you guys have for number 2? Let's see who they... feel free to start saying who you guys think... I mean, everyone's already kind of doing this. Who they think number 2 is in chat. But, number 2 for chat is a player who is kind of maybe one of the most mechanical players we've had on stream. Maybe one of the most exciting players we've had on stream. He grinded some insane games, and he definitely beefed up his win-loss record during a moment which he played games every night. He was asking me, like, even nights I wasn't live, can I get a show match? Can I get a show match? Can I get a show match? The man grinded so incredibly hard. He put on so much time on the stream that he got insane at once. He was held the top 1 spot for, like, what felt like forever. The dude couldn't lose to anybody except Chronic. He would lose to Chronic when he played Chronic, but pretty much everyone else he would beat. Didn't do too well in Fear 500 Season 2, but chat loves him. Chat loves him. Chat has Daniel at number 2. And I think that has a lot to do with Daniel just being a fan favorite. I mean, the way Daniel plays, he is really exciting to watch. Very heavy aerial type play. Very, like, he made, to me, at least on our stream, the first person who was doing those full field air dribbles every single like possession consistently was Daniel, and that's so exciting to watch. So I think that's why Daniel's so high. He also interacts in a lot of streams too. Yeah, Daniel's moves around. He's active on Twitch in general. And he's also a really good threes player. I think he's just somebody that everybody likes to watch. And so chat puts him really high. Chat's got him at number 2. He hasn't had any tournament huge wins. He lost in the finals of Next Gen. He was able to beat Drees, but he lost in the finals kind of handily. Chronic beat him 2-0 pretty quickly, and then they freestyled the last game because they basically decided that Chronic had already won. And then not a great performance in Fear 500 Season 2. I mean, it's interesting that chat thought he did so well even despite that, because Fear 500 Season 2, he only got 1 win. He got 1 win in pool play. He barely skated by into the playoffs because of some plus-minus stuff, and then lost in the quarterfinals to iRicky. And iRicky's a good player. I mean, he's really good, but Daniel's supposed to be just as good. I mean, a lot of people would have thought Daniel would have won that anyways. So when Daniel didn't win, apparently it didn't affect chat. Chat doesn't care. Chat still thinks he's number 2. And, you know, there's so many of these guys. I think pretty much everybody in the top 5 or 6 could be up here. So, anyways, for my number 2, Daniel goated, don't care. Who won the Fear 500? Drees won the Fear 500 of Season 2, and Sharp won Season 1. Rank doesn't say anything. True. All right. My number 2. Chat, my number 2. We already talked about him, so I won't go over his accolades too much. A little bit of this is recency bias, but a little bit is also past bias. So you'll remember that this guy that I picked, not only did he win the Fear 500 Season 2 recently, but he also was kind of the first ever person to challenge Kinsey for that title game. And to be fair, he didn't touch Kinsey. Kinsey beat him 3-1, I think, and seemed pretty confidently able to win that one. But Dries has always been hanging around as one of the best players, and I think, honestly, where he ends up in this list has everything to do with Fear 500 Season 2, because who he was able to take down in that is what put him above everybody else. He beat Daniel. He beat Chronic. He beat Sharp. He beat our new number 5, iRicky. He beat them all. Like, he had a great run, and he got everybody out in that process. So, Dries getting the number 2 spot from me. You guys put him at number 3, so we're not too far off. But yeah, that's who's getting number 2. Yeah, Daniel 70 past 2, he would have won. If Daniel had 70 past 2, he would have won IMO. I'm confused. Oh, past 2 weeks. Got it. 70 hours. Got it. Playing Rocket League. I got there. So, anyways. Number 1. Chat's number 1. My number 1 are the same player. It's getting a little bit old. One day, somebody is going to replace our number 1. They're going to maybe be as consistent. Maybe always nostalgia will hold this number 1 in our hearts forever. We're talking about a guy who's only ever lost once. I think the 18-0 streak is such a huge part of the stream's history that it's going to be really hard not to put him on. I mean, he like kind of guided us into the 1v1 show match space and was like one of the reasons why we were able to get so many people playing on the stream. You guys agree. I agree. It's Kinsey. He has no tournament wins. He only played in the Fear 500 Season 1, and he lost in the finals. But 18-1, man, and a lot of great wins over a lot of great players. When he's played these other players, he's played Dries a couple times. He's played Chronic. He's played Sharp. You guys didn't even have Sharp, but he can handle most of these top 100. He hasn't actually played Daniel. I don't think we've had Kinsey versus Daniel, which is maybe something we need to get. Kinsey versus Daniel seems like a good matchup. But Kinsey's number 1. He's still the king. You guys said so. I said so. Still the king. Maybe we'll get an emote when it happens. Yeah, maybe we'll get an emote. So there it is. There's my top 5. There's Chat's top 5. You guys didn't have Sharp. I did. You guys had Daniel. I did not. The reason why I ultimately didn't have Daniel is because of probably the next gen lost to Chronic and then the Fear 500 Season 2, which I kind of talked about. I think if Daniel gets second or if he gets to the semifinals or the finals, or if he even finishes on top of his pool, but then loses in the semis after doing that, I think it's a different story. I think he's fighting with guys like iRicky, who have shown that, you know, it's a little bit because he's newer into it and he hasn't had an opportunity to lose as much, but he's only lost to people in the top 5. So I think it was really tough. Honestly, I think I wanted to put Daniel in, but I knew Chat was going to put Daniel in for sure. So I let Daniel get in via the chat way. And I couldn't not put Sharp in, which you guys did not. So if you guys want to know we'll talk about the honorable mentions. The honorable mentions for Chat, the people who didn't make top 5 are the next up, number 6. Chat had Spider, just barely. So all the Spider, am I allowed to say simp? I don't know. All the Spider fans in the chat, they voted Spider number 6. Spider is 500 on stream, and I kind of looked at his record. He doesn't really have that great of a record in terms of wins and losses. I think one of the reasons why Spider gets the nod here is because he came in as a not top 100 player, and a lot of people didn't know he was going to be good, and he kind of surprised us. He was like turned out to be really good and was able to hang and won pretty consistently. He still has lost most of his games to the top players, so I didn't really have Spider close to the top 5. But Chat had him top 6. Chat's number 7 was Sharp, so Chat had Sharp somewhere close. Chat's number 8 was Gino, and I honestly thought about putting Gino in. Basically, what it came down to is for my number 5, I was thinking iRicky or Gino, and pretty much because of that qualifying game. Where, I mean, iRicky made the semifinals, or sorry, he got second in the Fear 500, and then plus he beat Gino in the qualifying match. So it felt like I couldn't put him in. I wanted to just put him in because of the nod. I think Gino's one of the favorites, and I think he actually might have, not to spoil it, got some of the most favorite votes because that was one of the questions on stream. So I think we all love watching Gino play, but I think basically, iRicky unfortunately beat him in that qualifier and made it to the finals, which edges him out. Then we had Mile, Collie, Young Evo got some votes, and that was it. Nobody else got any votes. So Mild, Collie, Young Evo to round it out. Collie got a first place vote. Wait, you got a first place vote and nobody voted for anything else. So I don't know. Maybe that was Collie. Maybe I was a Collie fan. Did you get any votes? Sam didn't get any votes. You weren't technically an option. So, anyways, chat. I'll also show you. I'll let you guys see my screen now, and we can talk about. Here are the votes. The best player on stream. Kinsey did end up getting the most first place votes. For a while, he didn't have the most first place votes. Daniel's number 2 most first place votes. I think that just goes to show how much of a fan people are of Daniel. I think it's kind of silly to put Daniel above Kinsey or even Drees, even though Daniel has beaten Drees when they played in the past. I don't know. He doesn't have a Fear 500 championship, and Drees beat him the most recent game they played. So, second place votes. Actually, Kinsey had the most second place votes too. So he had the most first and most second. Everybody agreed Kinsey basically unstoppable. Chronic and Daniel kind of had a lot of second place votes. Chronic, everyone seemed to agree, was third place, even though we both ended up giving him fourth. And then fourth started to spin around. So Gino got some votes. Young Evo got a couple votes for fourth. And then Gino got a lot of votes for fifth. I mean, I think putting Gino at fifth does make sense. I like that choice. But ultimately, I couldn't put iRicky behind him. Thank you for the $1,000 donation, Dex on Twitch. The orange is slightly off, my man. All right, who's your favorite player? This one I want to reveal after I get a look at it here. Who is your favorite player? So I'll tell you what. A lot of players got single votes. So I'll give you the people who got single votes: Gengar, Element, Drees, Claven, Collie, Spider, and Rhyolite. Rhyolite, I think, voted for himself because he said so on stream. But those guys got all got one vote. But a couple different players tied for third. And the players who tied for third, I'll just show, were Chronic and Daniel. So Chronic and Daniel, they were first, I should say. They both got 3 votes. Kinsey got 2 votes. Mo got 2 votes. And Gino got 2 votes. If you're asking me who I think my favorite player is, then I think I'm going to go with Gino. I think Kinsey is the obvious answer. But in terms of like, who do I like to see play? Who do I have a connection with this whole time doing the stream? I think I'm going to go Gino. I kind of really like Mo. Mo's newer. I like all these guys. I mean, everybody playing on stream is fun. Having Chronic and Daniel on, those guys are really fun to watch. So I get that why they got voted so high. But you wish you could give the nod to everybody on stream, but you can't. Anyways, the most Pog/memorable moment. So the most Pog/memorable moment is, of course. Oh wait, actually, I haven't seen some of the responses. So we have. Let's see. How can I do this in a way that like shows them so that they get slowly revealed to you guys? All right, this might work. Okay. So Rhyolite answered that Rhyolite was the most Pog and memorable moment. Another answer, when Stealth went for like 20 Johnskis in a row against. I think he meant to say Sharp. I have to assume that this is Evan. Who ended this or responded to this, but basically the Johnski flick, when it came out in the Fear 500 season 1, and Stealth was one of the guys that were part of the Johnski crew, and he basically went for exclusively Johnski flicks in the playoffs for the entire first game. Like 1 or 2 games, he went only Johnski flicks the whole time, until he actually got one. I think he only got one of them, but apparently it was the most memorable moment for somebody. Stealth just trying to force the Johnski. He went on to lose the game, but he got the Johnski, and that is what was somebody's most memorable moment. Next up, Sharp beating Kinsey in the Fear 500 Season 1 Finals, hands down. I think if you've been watching since Fear 500 Season 1, or if you've been watching even before Fear 500 Season 1, there is no other answer. This moment was... It might be the most Pog moment for a long, long time. Who knows if we'll ever have another storyline like the Kinsey 18-0 streak where he gets taken down by Sharp in the finals of our first ever tournament with like the biggest prize pool we've had. it was the best win, you know, ever on the stream. We'll see if one ever can beat it. Somebody who responded agreed with me. So winning the first Fear 500, I'm assuming that that's Sharp saying that his Poggest moment was winning the Fear 500. Wouldn't know. A couple people didn't really know. When I lost the 1v1, that person didn't say who they were, so I don't know. When it beat Plum, I believe, and you can hear his family celebrating in the background. Oh, yeah, when Mo beat Plum. That was pretty good. That was definitely a pretty Pog moment. I would agree with that. Whenever you join, I'm not sure who that is. And then, yes, okay, that doesn't make any sense. And then, I don't know. And then Sharp beating Kinsei. Yeah. Sharp beating Kinsei, definitely the most Pog moment. No doubt about it. I don't think anybody can really argue with that. Now, who's the most underrated player? Now, for the longest time, the underrated player was not a single person that had been voted for twice. So, after we started the stream and we added like 7 more votes or so, then I think some people started getting voted for twice. But let's look at it. Let's check it out. The most underrated player, it seems like a couple of different people are tied for 2. So Spider and Mo. Spider, Mo, and Daniel. Spider, Mo, Daniel, Kali. Oh, and Ricky. I think a lot of these are underrated players. The people who got 2 votes. I think of these guys who are voted for, I think Daniel's probably the not most underrated. I think a lot of people like Daniel. I think he's a great player and people expect a lot from him. So when he wins, everyone's like, yeah, he was supposed to. He's insane. So I think that's kind of the opposite of underrated. But I think Mo is probably pretty good. I think I hear a lot of people, you know, maybe not giving Mo the respect that he probably deserves with how high of a rated player he is. I think Ricky for sure. I think that's a good one. I think Ricky's one of the best players there are. And I think for some reason he gets put on a level under the top. And it seems like he is just full top. Spider, I think Spider's a good one. I think that's a good answer. I think that's kind of what happened on stream with Spider is we had him a little bit underrated and then he proved to be much better than he really was, or like what we would have thought considering where he was rated at the time. And he's also turned out to be like a great. So I think Spider's a good underrated. I think Kali's a good underrated. I think Kali is kind of like Ricky in that for some reason the way that those guys play ones, people don't like to acknowledge that they're so good at it. I feel like for some reason. And Kali is really good at ones. I think hasn't played a lot recently, but definitely during the past when he's been playing on stream, he's always been one of those better guys. And yeah, he doesn't get like the hype for it that he probably deserves. So a lot of the people getting votes: Young Evo, Ryolite, I think voted for himself. Red Snow, Quell's probably a good one. Plum, I think Plum's a good answer too. I think a lot of people are thinking that Plum like snuck his way into the Fear 500 and then like didn't deserve to win some of the games that he did. And I think he's a good player. And I think that he gets a little bit too much crap. Evo is super underrated. Yeah, I think Evo's a good answer to this. I think Gino is probably a good answer too. Gengar, I don't really know much about Gengar. He's only played a couple times on stream. I think Red Snow's a good answer. I think Quell. I think a lot of these are good answers. I think Chronic is an interesting answer. I think Chronic is pretty highly rated. I'd say Chronic and Daniel are pretty highly rated. Chat put them as like number 2 and number 4 on the stream, so they thought they were really highly rated. So it's interesting for them for Chat to also pick them as underrated. But you put Spider, of course. You put Evo. Yeah, I think Evo's a good answer. Gino is meh. Oh, dude, Mo, I like you trying to give us some beef. Mo's good at creating beef. So what player do you want to see the most? Wait, what the heck? What happened with these ones? I think I created these questions wrong. Or maybe because it saw 2 people said, all right, a couple different people said First Killer. So First Killer and Standard. So 3 different people said First Killer. When is Fear 500 Season 3? When we make $500. So we should start a donation goal. But as soon as we have another set of $500, I think I want to do it. And I might even try and do some like streams to help fundraise. Maybe come up with some ideas. Apparently Jack. So there's 2 different themes that I saw in these answers. One was First Killer. We want to see First Killer on our stream. That makes a lot of sense. He's like the best North American 1v1er. Forky was in the joke response, so it's questionable whether or not that's a real answer. First Killer, if he hasn't been on. So no, First Killer got like 4. You only know the Fear stream. Is that Ryan? I think that's got to be Yita. You like to see Angel? Yeah, Angel would be cool. Angel has said no in the past. I don't know who this guy Raid is. Somebody asked a guy named Raid. You're not sure if he's played before, but who? It won't show me the end of that one. I don't know. Maybe an EU1s player. So a couple different people said EU1s. So I think getting apparently Jack versus maybe Vency. I don't know if Vency's still in chat. I'd love to do Vency versus apparently Jack. I'd love to do Spider against those guys. We could start branching out into EU a little bit. I might do streams earlier on weekends maybe. But only having that one day of the week, I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not. To use that one day, because Sunday is also like the Sunday, the day we stream on the weekend, is also a day that is one of the better days for NA too. So to take it and make it EU, I don't know. Preferably we just be able to stream more, but I don't think I can stream more. You put Spider, of course. Wait, when is for who's gonna win season 3? You put me. You're gonna be here for more now on. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. It hasn't been announced yet, but who is gonna win the Fear 500 season 3? Somebody said AJ. That's a good guess if we have AJ on. And to be fair, AJ showed up in chat for the last couple of streams for the Fear 500 season 2, so he's definitely more aware of it. Maybe there's a chance that he's down to play it in season 3. I mean, we might ask him now that we've at least opened the door with him. Kali or Daniel? Interesting. Some of these I haven't seen before. Odds me we get EU 2-mans working soon. Listen, I tried to get EU 2-mans out, but you guys didn't like the way I wanted to do it. Kinsey, that's a good guess. If Kinsey plays again, there's a good chance he'll win. Rhyolite guessed himself. The people who guessed we or me, I didn't really know. Daniel, if he has hours. This might be a Gino response, because Gino came into chat and said if Daniel had hours, he'd be even higher. So Drees, somebody thinks Drees is going to back-to-back. Why not? I don't know. Me, Lameo just came on bad, and then me, of course, a lot of people saying themselves. But that's it, guys. That was the survey. I wanted to go over the survey. I wanted to see what you guys thought about the people who played on stream. I know I have a lot of opinions about my own stream, but I'm always here. So we got 20 or so responses, 19 if you want to be exact. And I thought it was cool to just go over who guys your top 5 was, what you guys thought the best moments were on stream, and who you want to see the most. And not a lot of surprises for the most part. You guys want to see First Killer. You guys thought the Kinsey versus Sharp game was amazing, and y'all thought Kinsey and Daniel and everybody was good. But I thought it was fun. Hope it was a good time for you guys as well. And I will see y'all later.